Morning, Ryan.
Hey, morning. You have a good weekend?
Yeah, got out on the water a couple times. How about you?
Yeah, I got to set in. Just gonna make a quick phone call here. Oh, of course. Can you get that, Will?
Yeah, man, I got it. Thanks for calling Wake House. This is Will. Yeah, looks like we've got those in stock.
All right, and we're getting ready to go with the men's slalom competition. The boat's going to take its mandatory pass up and down the simulation run, and when we do go into the slalom event, the following skiers will feature right from the get-go. So, on this list, we're going to see Andrew Bergman from Canada take to the water first, followed by Garrett Reese. Then Zayn Nicholson, then Landon Giles, Jonathan Travers, Frederico Jaramillo, Blaze Grubbs, Chris Parrish, Dane Meckler, Jamie Calhoun, Sean Hunter, and Adam Stadelbauer, and the remaining skiers featuring in this competition. We'll continue on with Benjamin Stadelbauer, then Will Asher, Frederick Winter, Cole McCormick, Cory Vaughn, Thomas DeGasperi, Stephen Neveu. And our final competitor will be Nate Smith, who produced an absolutely scintillating performance yesterday with one buoy at 43 off on 9.75 meters. So a lot of good skiing to come. We're waiting on that towboat to come on back and bring on our first competitor, who is Andrew Bergman, who yesterday scored 1.5 at 38 off yesterday, or 11.25 meters.
And making sure those guys keep their existence.
Looking forward to some great performances here at Lake Gru, which is the home of Action Watersports and Ski Fluid. And you can find out more about Action Watersports by going to their website, actionwater.com. Actionwater.com, full service MasterCraft dealership for both sales and service, and they've also got a fantastic pro shop there with all the latest and greatest water sports gear, and they also have an online pro shop called wakehouse.com. You can check those guys out as well, wakehouse.com, for all the latest and greatest water sports gear available online, and all that is courtesy of Action Watersports right here, also on Lake Gru, and also in 4 other locations in the Michigan area.
Yeah, some great sponsors here out there to make this possible, and it's a great way to cap off our pro series throughout the year. Granted, the year that we did have, it's amazing to see everyone come together and kind of keep this thing alive and keep it afloat. No pun intended.
Yeah, indeed. So I mean, and for those of you that are watching the webcast, there is our schedule. We've already gone through women's round 2. We're now into men's round 2 to determine the top 6 making it through to the next round of the competition. And then we're going to go into the women's final and the men's final, and then the men's jump final. And we should have a prize presentation at about 2:30 this afternoon, if things go along as they should without too much in the way of interruption. So the format for the slalom, best score of 2 rounds, irrespective of which round you score it in. Top six women, which we've already determined, and the top 6 men will advance. And we will return right after these.
From Coble Water Ski and Wakeboard Camp here in Lillington, North Carolina. Our facility is situated on 10 private lakes.
Denali. No hype, just science.
Hey, thanks guys. Wade Cox again here in the dock, and as many of you might know, I was a pro in my day and got to compete actually on this lake. So it's very cool this weekend. I've had this view with all the athletes. The wind has switched just a little bit. Now it's a little bit more of a quartering tailwind on their first pass. So it'll be a quartering into the wind, headwind coming back. And after watching all those ladies rip it up, man, I can't wait. Got goosebumps already. Back to you guys.
All right, then. With the minimum starting line length of 32 off, we have got Andrew Bergman approaching the course now. Boat speed is at 36 miles an hour for the men's slalom event, and here we go. And nicely performed. And so, 30 meters for Andrew Bergman. And what do you see there, Zach?
That's a nice looking opening pass. I mean, Andrew, 1.5 at 38. I know he's capable a little bit more, but going off 32 off, that puts him 38 downwind, but, capable of getting through that. And, try and take 39 back, coming back at the dock on pass number 4. So, said he first set of the day, getting dialed in. Good looking opening pass there, not too much critique. All
right, so 30 meters, always a
Solo,
tricky pass to open up.
Closed doors open. And then followed by a delete.
Stay cool and relaxed, and not too sure how clean that sock is on his left foot.
About as clean as that mustache on his face. All right, well, obviously the competitors looking on. A couple of these guys at the front really didn't have the scores they wanted in the first round. But with the competition, the field that we have, just looking at it right now as we stand, there's a runoff for 5-way tie for 6th place at 2 at 41. So, these guys are really going to have to push the limits. Little wheelie there. Gets back in it at 4 ball for Andrew. Over to 6.
And
nice
just
through that
absolutely
pass.
Rips that through that 12-meter run, and just looked very, very stable from the beginning. He did ski into a pretty gusting headwind right now. So, that's something that you need to take into account, especially if you're using the one-handed gate shot. You want to try and have a little bit of tension on that line as you turn in, but it can't be too tight. Otherwise, the ski won't be able to fully rotate and give you that jump on number 1 that you're always looking to have.
Yeah, it is beautiful having a nice headwind like that. But what you see, a skier is not as experienced, they tend to take that headwind for granted and almost ski a little bit too easy, and that headwind can eat you up pretty quick, especially if you don't ski aggressive at it. It'll be quick to slow you down. It'll be quick to set you up narrow. But we got a really experienced field here. They know the headwind like this. They got to stay strong. And then coming back in the tailwind, they've got to stay light on that line and keep line tension through that edge change. Without that line, they're going nowhere with a downwind pass like this.
All right, continuing right along here at Lake Grew, the home of action water sports and ski fluid, and one of the great locations that you can visit in Central Florida, and you can find out more about other locations by going to visit centralflorida.org. Visit centralflorida.org.
All right, Andrew had a 1.5 of the first. Oh, man.
Oh, and going down hard.
Frustration there, and rightfully so. It looks like that, maybe a little bit too much speed through that gate there. That tailwind caught him up a little bit. And you'll see his edge change here, kind of sat back in the back seat, never got on top of the front of the ski to slow it down. And when that happens, you're right out the back door. You'll see that just off the back of the ski and not able to hold on. And, unfortunate there for Andrew. The conditions got the best of him on that one. But, good to see him out here. Definitely a tough skier. And, he'll be back next year.
See if that ski actually makes contact with the line. No, he just skied onto onto a slack line. He just couldn't really recover from that point onwards. So, skier from Gallatin in Tennessee about to take to the water. It's Zayn Nicholson, and you know a little bit about him, Zach.
Unfortunately. No, Zayn and I are good buddies. I know we had an opportunity to ski together on Team HO for quite some time. Zayn's a guy I grew up with, competing against, and here in the later years really started to set himself apart with the slalom skiing, and starting to get through that 39 and get into 41 and set himself up there in the pro ranks. And you saw his sister go out there earlier, sitting in the 4th seed, going in the pro women's finals. So definitely a family affair when it comes to Zayn and Allie, both riding the HO, and both confident-looking skiers. Zayn with the mustache, though, maybe style points. It's like the Gunnar Minshew of slalom skiing right now.
Nice reference.
You like that? I love football.
Yeah, I love football as well, but the kind of real football that we play is part of the New Orleans Saints.
Well, right now my Bucks are taking you down, Tony. We look good. We're bringing in all the big pieces.
Well, enjoy it while it lasts. All right, then. We've got the Gardner Minshew of water ski slalom. We've got Zayn Nicholson.
Hey, man, whenever you're ready.
Following up Zayn there, we'll have Landon Gills, JT, Jonathan Travers, Frederico Jaramillo, Chris Parrish, Dane Meckler, Jamie Calhoun, and so on. So excited to see some of the rest of these guys come off the dock. But right now we got Zayn Nicholson on the water, 13 meters, 32 off. Let's see what he's got for us in store today.
And with the top scores that we saw from the previous round, it does kind of limit the option so far as what's starting line length to come in on. If 13 meters short enough, but you're probably highly unlikely to see anyone going on 12 meters because of where that would put your 10.75 meter run, which would be on a tailwind.
Correct. And I'm looking at the beginning of this list, and most of these guys who maybe didn't quite get through 39 the first round, they're just looking for a good score. They 2 at 41 will maybe get your hat in the ring to get you through the finals, but they're going to take the 32, they're going to take 39 into the win and have a nice confidence set, get through 39. I mean, that's the name of the game at every pro event. You got to run 39 to even be in contention. I will be curious to see what shakes down when we get a little further down the list. Some of these guys who maybe already guaranteed a spot in the finals, but we're going to go ahead and head down the wade and see who's got for us, bud.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm on the dock here with Colin Swigert. I saw him doing a walkthrough of a boat this morning. I'm like, wow, he sounds pretty good. So, a graduate of University of Michigan and a boat design engineer. What a cool job.
Yeah, I love it. It's definitely a pretty cool thing to be involved in. So, yeah.
And so you've been involved with the design of this new ProStar, and from the results. So far, it's working out. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I think everyone's pretty excited. So, working with the whole crew of athletes and everything, people had things about the boat they loved and things about it that they wanted to change or improve on. So we just try to go through the list and check the boxes.
And there you go. Hey, man, so stay in school, kids. Look, you could have his job one day. Back to you guys.
All right, looking at the tail end of that second pass from Zayn Nicholson with 12 meters, he'll pull out to shorten to 11.25 meters and attempt that pass with the tailwind. And for those of you that are commenting on the YouTube channel, wanting to know the running order, well, you can find that at waterskibroadcasting.com, and there as well you can vote for your favorite skier of the day, waterskibroadcasting.com. But looking at Zayn Nicholson, looking in very, very good shape here.
Yeah, I mean, clean looking 35 there. We saw him go down at 38 in the first round, a score I know he's not really happy with, but clean looking 35 there, set himself up nice here. He's got to get through this tailwind 38, and then, if he gets through that, we talk about it again, he gets to reap the benefits of this 39 headwind, which wind's picking up a little bit, so he's going to have to maintain nice tight line through this 38. And the name of the game in a tailwind is you got to stay calm. You see a lot of these skiers try to fight back into it too hard. They pull too hard, they pull too long, they lose that line tension, and it's game over quick in a sport like this.
All right, so let's have a look and see what we have. We've got Zayn Nicholson with 13 and 12 under his belt. Here he comes.
Tight looking one. Oh, checked up at 2. Can he get back down? Needs a big 3 ball. Gets back in it. He gets it. Needs to stay patient here at 4. Maybe a
on
little
the back
too
of the
patient.
ski there. Come on. Oh, and tried his best there. Looks like it is going to be a 5 buoy count at 11.25 meters, and just didn't get the turn on his offside on number 2 and number 4 that would have saved his bacon.
Yeah, and that the 135 was working well. And, what I saw going in 2-4 there, just pulling a little bit long and almost being too aggressive, trying to make up too much ground, like I just talked about going into that. And you saw it right there on the 2 ball and the 4 ball, just pull a little bit long. And when you have that much speed going in the buoy, I don't care who you are, it's really tough to get that ski to finish, especially if you don't have the tight line. And, that's all she wrote there. And he tried to get a big 5 ball there, but unfortunately not able to hold on and get over to 6. And that'll be all she wrote for Zayn. That'll cap up the 2020 season for him. Not the way he wanted to finish, but we'll definitely leave him hungry and motivated going into next season.
All right, so far as our scores that are potentially making it through to next round of the competition, the scores that we got from the previous round yesterday absolutely seems like there is actually a multiple way tie for 6th place right now. But there might be room for a skier to come in with a superior score in this round that we wouldn't have expected to get to that point. Here is Wade Cox on dockside.
What do you want with Letterman? Me too. Bravo 2.
Hey guys, here with my man JT, John Travers, father, business owner, pro skier. So what are we seeing here with the conditions?
Yeah, a little bit more of a head tail than I skied in yesterday for sure, and I didn't have the best set ever yesterday, so I kind of got to go all or nothing here, and I got something a little unique that people might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to do 39 tail. So I'm going all or in. I'm hoping to get deep down 41, so we'll see what happens.
There you go. That's what I was sort of thinking, that somebody was going to sort of do something outside the box, and we're going to see an opt-up. So you'll see JT real soon. See you guys.
All righty, Wade checking in down there with John Travers, who he's going to be coming up here in just a few skiers. It's great to get that dockside perspective from these skiers, kind of before and after, what their game plan is going out in the water, what it's looking like. Skier like JT finding himself off a little bit earlier in the running order than he's used to, but, right now we got Landon Gills coming out of the USA, 2.5 at 39 in the first round. Coming back in at 13 meters, looking for that 39 headwind. but he's got to be our first skier through 38 here to do it so.
Getting into a nice rhythm to start off with, getting a little bit broken forward off number 5, but these opening 2 passes an opportunity for our skiers to get dialed into the conditions and see what is possible whenever you load a certain amount off the buoy. You know, whether you need to load more at a different time, back off, be a little bit bolder, and so
yeah,
Landon doing a good job.
Yeah, I like this 2-4 there, but I'd be a little bit more hesitant on this. On his offside here, he's tending to get in that chest a little bit ahead of his hips there, and it's causing him to kind of break at the waist and lose that line a little bit. You'll see it right there on 5 ball. So let's see if we make the correction here, going back at 38.
All right. So the starting line length.
In the development of the whisper fin. These are some of the fins used improving upon that design. The new fins first set with a pro, 1 at 43, off the dock.
All right, here comes Landon. Coming in on 12 meters. The minimum starting line length is 13, don't forget. And as I mentioned earlier, that does kind of limit the options for our competitors in trying to position a pass in a particular wind direction. But Landon seems to be all over that.
Yeah, good looking 35 there, and did a much better job of kind of keeping those hips up on his offside turn on 135. Still at that stellar 2-4. He does a great job of getting that hand back on the handle and getting his hips lined up before he engages that ski. You'll see a lot of times these skiers they'll get the hand on the handle, they'll get their hips around, that ski's not quite ready for it, and they'll push on that ski, and you'll see them lose momentum, and you'll see them lose angle across course. So great job on that. Let's go ahead and take it back down to the dock. Wade's got another skier for us.
Hey guys, here on the dock with Dane Meckler. Dane, I was making fun of you yesterday because I tried to catch you and you had a binding issue, so I was sort of making fun of you. But I got the pleasure, which I always want to do, is you'd won the Junior Worlds a few years back, and we're in Cincinnati in your hometown, and I asked, hey man, can I ride in the boat? This guy's really good. It's going to be fun to watch.
Thanks, Wade. I appreciate it. It's looking good out there. We got a little bit of wind coming up, a nice head tail. Looking forward to getting down the lake at 41 and getting in this final.
So if you want to know how to do it right, watch this guy. He'll be up soon. Back to you guys.
All right, look at this. From Landon, 11. Oh, just not getting into great rhythm to start things off there, and that is going to be 2.5. For Landon, so he probably won't move up too much in the standings.
And same score as round 1 there for him. Got a good start here and had a big 2-ball and looked like he just came off the handle a little bit too soon. And we talked about it earlier, let that chest get a little too far over the front of the ski. And when that happens, Tony, that fin is so quick to release on you. And that's what ended up biting him there around 3-ball 39. Consistent skiing, I know he wanted a little bit more, a little frustrated with it, but not the easiest conditions. That tailwind's pushing him pretty hard down there, so valiant effort for him.
Yeah, I noticed on the entrance gates into buoy number 1, almost as soon as he got within proximity of the wakes, he started coming up off that edge a little bit in an attempt to slow that ski down. And what happens when that happens with the tailwind, you lose residual angle off that second wake, and there is no way from that point onwards you're going to keep the line tight enough to make a play.
Yeah, correct. And I mean, the name of the game, when you have a tailwind like that, angle is your friend, and you got to keep that ski on edge. And we saw Landon there ride a little bit of a flat ski, came up a little bit early in the 3-ball there, and you'd be surprised. As soon as you start riding that flat ski, it tends to accelerate down the lake, and it's so hard to get that ski to slow back down again once you've made that error. Especially at 39 off in a tailwind like that. So,
and that's the thing, though. It's it's time on the water, it's training, it's trying to get that confidence in knowing that even if you do take in a dose more speed, you can still make a play on that particular buoy because you've actually got residual angle and that ski is going to track wide enough for you to keep a good tight line and to keep that ski moving. And that's the name of the game, keeping that ski moving.
Absolutely, and you know, these skis, the way they're designed, they're designed to be ridden on edges. You really don't want to ever ride a flat ski unless you're coming around the island and back into the course. And you know, the skis are meant to have angle, and that's where their sweet spots are built and designed at. And yeah, unfortunately, they're just not quite able to make a connect for landing. But next on the water, we're going to have a former Masters champion Team HO rider, Mr. Jonathan Travers, coming out. A guy who just 2 weeks ago put himself through the 41 off pass and into 43 off. An absolutely huge score. You know, unfortunately going down awfully early for JT in the first round, 2.5 at 39. But definitely dialed in. I know he's hungry for this round number 2. Kind of get the feel for this win. And JT's a fun guy to watch, man. He takes some big hits. He's a fun skier. He's a scrapper. So we're definitely in store for a good treat here with JT.
And one of those skiers on this list that's a bit of an outlier. I mean, he's not in contention at this moment in time to make it through to the next round, but we'll explain a little bit more about that after we check in with Wade.
Hey, so a real pleasure and honor for me. We've got the twins here. So, Luisa, you're here cheering on brother, right? So, what are we expecting?
Yeah, I am expecting big buoys from him because he can do it.
Hey, so very, very cool. They both won the Junior Masters, and they're both on the verge of becoming college students. So, how's it standing on the dock here today, Federico?
It feels pretty fun. There's a big win, but being in between John Travers and Chris Parrish, it's exciting. You want to put up a big score.
Yeah, this is cool. You heard him going between JT and CP. He's going to make a name for himself, and they already are. Back to you guys.
So, good words there from Frederico Jaramillo, and I tell you what, so far as photobombs are concerned, Luisa's attempt there was definitely on point. Photobombing Frederico back from that earlier little deal in slalom.
All right, I just got a word through the radio that I'm hearing an opt up to 38 here.
Whoa, here we go.
I know we talked about it earlier, and this wind's going to have that effect. So JT opting up to 38 off coming in. He needs to get a full 6 buoys on this pass to make it count.
Oh, no. Ugh.
Wow. Uncharacteristic there of JT sitting way in the back seat on that one ball, and maybe drifted back a little bit far on that gate. That headwind maybe snuck on him a little bit much. And yeah, just uncharacteristic of JT. He's known for having those big 135s, and I'm not quite sure what happened there. It looked like he drifted.
Just completely lost the line. And I mean, it's one of those situations where we expanded upon before. I mean, this is a headwind, but I mean, you could be led into some sort of complacency there.
Yeah, and just didn't. You know, a bummer to see, because I mean, he was setting himself up. He knew the score to beat 2 at 41. He wants to take that in the headwind. So what he was doing there, opting up, was, you know, electing to go out at 32 off, opt up, come back at 38 off in the headwind, hope to scrap through 39 tail and set himself up for a 41 head. So he really went at this, you know, all out. And so unfortunately, just didn't quite pan out there for him.
Back after this. Here comes Frederico Jaramillo from Colombia, coming in on 30 meters, the minimum starting line length. Didn't expect the boat to be making its way back towards the starting dock that soon to pick him up, but he's ready to whip this through. And it looks like it's going to be a 6 buoy count there. So we'll return to the dock and hear from Wade.
Hey, got a question actually for you, Zach. That was your man J-Trav out there. He went for opt-up, so we got to catch him for an interview after. We want to sort of hear what the wind was like, if that was a sort of factor. It was odd to see him go down early like that, but we got some big boys down here left. So back to you guys.
All right, then. So we'll get an answer to that question very, very soon from Zach Warden. But we're keeping our eye on Frederico Jaramillo. So as we get ready to bring Frederico Jaramillo back into the course, and and basically the question was from Wade, why did Zach opt up?
Well, I mean, the strategy we talked about earlier, going off at 32 off, you're setting yourself up for a 39 headwind. Granted, a nice score at 39 might be nice. It's not going to get you in the finals. Right now, 2 is the mark to beat. So JT went into that knowing if I go 32 off and I elect to skip 35 off and go right into 38, down the line, that's going to pay off for a 41 headwind. So that was really, it was a gutsy call.
Exactly.
That's an onside kick attempt, in the final moments. And, a lot of times it doesn't exactly pay off, unfortunately, there for JT. But, that's a strategy that I think we're going to see maybe a couple more times throughout this.
I think so.
Some of these guys who are capable of running 39 into 41, they're going to elect to take that 39 tailwind, which either requires them, A, starting off at 35 off, or B, starting at 32 and then doing like JT did and opting up to that 38 off pass.
And certainly there are skiers on this list that are capable of doing both, whether it is opting up through 35 to 38, or go in at a 35 off. And I ask you, Zach, if you had the choice between the two, which one would you plump for?
I like opting up. I've done it before, and it's nice to. I know all these skiers when they go off and practice, 9 times out of 10, they're always going to start at 32 off. That's what they know. That's what the rhythm is. They don't always practice going off at 35. Granted, they're all good enough skiers to get through 35, 38, 39. We're going to see these guys more than likely maybe go off at 32 off, something they're very familiar with, get their bearings, feel the boat out, feel the driver out, feel out day number 2, and then they're going to attack on pass number 2, electing to opt up there. So that's where I see the mindset being at versus going off at 35. Now, granted, some of these skiers, like some veterans we have down the line here, have gone off at 35 cold starts, 38 cold starts. 32 is just a nice familiar pass.
All right, and we just saw the graphic there on Jonathan Travers, still in the lead with the rope tension rankings being brought to you by Radar Skis. This is 11.25 meters. This is Frederico Jaramillo. Round number 4 seems to have a pretty darn lock on that run, even though he got out of rhythm a little bit with the final 2 buoys, as we see Chris Parrish on the starting dock. And
good looking start here at 38 off for Frederico, but that 5 ball spooked us a little bit. You almost kind of started to wonder, you turn 4 ball like that, you're setting yourself ahead, and you're almost thinking about 6 ball too soon, and it kind of caught up with him for a second there at 5 ball. He'll get away with it there at 38, but at 39 it won't. And we saw Frederico 2 weeks ago at the Swiss Pro throw down I think he threw a 1 at 41 down in one of the preliminary rounds, and a guy capable of running this 39 off, and he did all the hard work, the 38 tail, so now he gets to take this 39 into the wind and see if he can scrape through this one more time for us.
All right, rather pensive look there from Chris Parrish, man who towers above everybody else in terms of height. I mean, he is an absolute beast out there on the slalom course.
What was his nickname again, Tony?
The Tower.
But Chris getting dialed in the dock, watching the rest of these competitors. He was our first skier, sitting there at half 41 from yesterday's score, eagerly watching on a guy who, Frederico out there now, who ran 39 just 2 weeks ago, getting into 41. So here we go, coming back in, 39 off.
All right, here we go, 35 off.
Nice one. Little check up at 2. Needs to get a good 3.
Oh, and getting in a little bit deeper, 10.75 meters. It's a score that will take the lead, but not a score that will see him advance out of this round to the finals.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the skiing he wanted to do. I thought he had a beautiful start here, and then came into 2-ball here and just kind of sat back a little bit. And then you see there, Tony, he lost that angle going over to 3. He was forced to make a big move on 3 here.
Oh.
And when the ski turns that hard, you're not quite ready for it. It's going to buck you off just like it happened there. And unfortunately, go down around 3-ball. But he'll take a couple good things away from this set. A beautiful start at 39, something he's used to. And then he's not going to make that mistake again at 2-ball. I can guarantee that.
Yes, indeed. And almost put himself in a rather dangerous position off buoy number 3 if we're right there. And that's Frederico. And dockside, we have got Wade. Wade, who do you have?
Hey, guys. I'm here with Andrew Bergman, our first men's slalom skier of the day. So I asked how you're feeling this morning. You said exactly what I wanted to hear. You said, man, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, I was just super excited to be out here. It's such a strong field, and these guys have been competing for so long. So I really kind of just got to get my feet wet and experience what it's like to be out here with the cameras and Tony announcing and all these legends on the water.
Well, you heard it from Andrew. We're going to be seeing more of him next year. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Wade. Back on the water, the man, the myth, the legend, the tower, Mr. Chris Parrish, making easy work of that 32 off.
Yes.
No big deal, but when you're as tall as he is, it feels more like 15 off, I swear.
Right, and we'll wait to see what pass he comes in on next, because there's always that possibility of performing the opt-up, and he knows that if he wants to make a play on possibly skiing through to the finals, then he's got to go in for the penny, in for the pound, as it were.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard that saying before, but now I learned something new. But, yeah, I'm kind of listening to the radio here, see if we see any updates if he elects to opt up. We are getting a bit of a gust coming across the lake here, and a lot of these skiers, speaking from...
All right. Back right on time with Chris Parrish on 12 meters, going with the schedule. Although he has one potential opportunity left to opt up, and that would be directly through to 39.5 off on the next pass if he feels frisky enough to try it.
I'd say that's a bold move, Cotton. But we've seen guys like this do this, where they go in and they'll go something from crazy from like 35 straight into 39. Chris has been doing this, for the last 2+ decades. So 39 is no big deal for him, but he's got to get through 38. And watching that 35 there, I want to see the intensity level pick up a little bit on that onside turn. That's his moneymaker, and kind of taking his time, taking a little bit of a long turn, which you get away with at 35 being Chris's height. But 38 and 39 coming in, that intensity level's got to be stepped up a little bit and be a little bit more aggressive.
No, he checked up a little bit on 3 and 5, and the reason why I think he did that was to kind of like test his bearings on possibly going through to an opt-up directly through to 39.5 off. And now I know that you mentioned your reason for selecting the opt-up over going in on a later pass, and I would actually disagree with you a little bit, because I figured that, if you go in on 30 meters, you establish a rhythm that would not be easy, that would be a little bit too easy to transition from there to 38 off, or to directly from 30 meters to 11.25 meters. I would personally rather go in on 12 and keep the schedule going. Here we go. Look at this. This is 11.25 meters, 38 off.
All right, so Chris, we didn't get any word on the radio. Obviously coming back in 38 off, deciding to make that strategy to ski right up the line. And a lot of times you see it, it only takes one skier to do the opt-up or to shake things up a little bit, like either go off at 35 or opt up, and then it gets the rest of the competitors on the beach, on the sidelines watching and kind of paying attention. He had a big two ball there, a little uncharacteristic of Chris, because as big as he is, he's one of the lightest skiers to drive and a very efficient skier, and you have to be at that height. So getting through 38 off there, set himself up for a nice 39. He ran this in round number 1. It's shaping up to be a nice headwind 39 coming back here.
All right, and this tells us a lot about what his thinking is right now, because he's put himself at 39.5 off, 10.75 into the wind. He must think that if he goes through that pass and tries 41 off into the tailwind, that he feels that he can get far enough down the course, maybe over halfway, and that would put himself in a pretty decent position of making it through to the next round.
Yeah, that's where he's thinking. He's thinking, let me get through 39 and let my instincts kick in on 41 and get myself, to at least two ball and hopefully beyond. So, this is a seasoned veteran that is confident in his skiing. So he's going to take 39 head here, do his best to get through it and take 41 tail, but nice looking one ball there. Hooked up, tight line out of 2, hips rotated out to 3, over to 4. Oh,
an inside 5 there. Unfortunately, it's good enough for the lead in this round, but unfortunately won't do much for him in terms of possibly making it through to the next round of the competition. So that is a 5 buoy count, actually a 4 buoy count for Chris Parrish. And for the first half of the slalom course, he looked in pretty darn good shape.
Yeah, he looked good, Tony, and he got hooked up good out of 3 here and got hooked up out of 4, but those hips trailed him coming out of 4 a little bit. And when you're in that kind of position, and being Chris, as tall body he is and a tall stance, any little bob you'll see it there, boom, on the second wake, that ski kind of jumps on him, and as soon as it did, it buckled him at the waist there. And at 39, you can't afford a mistake like that or any bounce out of position. So unfortunately, not able to get the ski around 5. He'll finish with a full 4 at 39. Not the effort he wanted. The conditions are getting a little bit tougher out here for the guys. That's going to make some of the other guys think a little bit more. But
all right then, and as we look at the tail end of this performance by Chris Parrish, we'll check in with Wade Cox at the dock and find out who he has. But so far as Chris Parrish is concerned, it is 4 at 39.5 off as his best. All right, going straight to our next competitor, we've got Dane Meckler, who is a resident of Charlotte in North Carolina, originally out of the Buckeye State of Ohio. Now, he is a skier that could definitely come through with a huge score to really shake things up.
No, absolutely. Dane's a guy, skiing for Lafayette down in Louisiana. But let's go ahead and catch up with Wade real quick down the dock. We'll get back to here.
Hey, thanks, Tony. Hey, I got a special shout out to Miss Heather Lynette Bonney, who's been watching Down Under in Australia. So it's brekkie time, I guess, or coffee time over there. So thank you, Miss Heather, for all the shout outs and posts you've been giving us at TWBC. Thanks for watching. Back to you guys.
All right, so let's have a look at the remaining skiers on our starting list. We are on skier number 5. Actually, it looks like Dane Meckler is skier number 7. I beg your pardon. Then we've got skier number 8, Jamie Calhoun. Then we've got Sean Hunter. Then Adam Stadelbauer, Benjamin Stadelbauer, William Asher, Frederick Winter, Cole McCormick, Cory Vaughn, Thomas DeGasperi, Stephen Nephew, and then Nate Smith. And there is our top 6 right now, taking into account the scores from round 1 and round 2.
All right, Zayn coming, or Zayn. Dane coming back in.
38 is an opt
off.
up.
So it sounds like we had an opt up, electing to take the JT approach. Getting his way through this pass, looking nice and strong. And what I love about Dane is he does such a good job, and you'll notice here he rotates his hips out to the buoy, such a good job, and then he keeps a nice tight line. You'll see that handle pushed way far in front of his body here, coming to one. What that does is he never loses line tension, so that gives him the ability to scrap his way through any of these passes. Nice tight line, and we did get word from our officials he did not opt up to 38. He was actually one of our skiers, Tony, who elected to go off at 35 off.
Yeah.
And take
my strategy.
Your strategy. All right, well, we're 1 for 1 so far.
All right, then. So we got Dane Meckler. He's gone through 12 meters and 11.25 meters. Certainly a lot of schools of thought go into whether you go with the opt-up or whether you go in with the later pass, and both have valid rationale attached to them. But in the end, it's what you feel most comfortable in doing.
Yeah, I mean, Dane had a 1 at 41 here in the first round. A huge score, but as of right now, he's on the outside looking in. And so he knows it's going to take a gutsy performance here to get himself, even to get to that 2-ball at 41 to hopefully tie for a spot in the finals. But he's got to get to his 39 tailwind. He's got to be aggressive. He's got a nice tight line. He's got to maintain that strategy all the way through here.
All right, here we go. This is Dane Meckler. Whoa. This is 10.75 meters. Around buoy number 2 and number 3.
Nice
a little bit of a delay, but I tell you what, he is absolutely roping this pass. Look at him go. Tailwind 39.
And so it's huge right there. And I talked about on his 38. This guy never loses line tension. He does such a good job of keeping a nice tall chest and keeping that handle moving down the course there. And it paid off there huge, because a tailwind like that will eat up most competitors, especially if they lose that line. Dane did a great job of controlling the line tension, staying patient when he needs to, and then being aggressive behind the boat to make up for lost ground. And there we go, 39 off down the wind. Your first competitor of round number 2 through 39 off.
All right, then. We're looking at the tail end of this pass getting broken over into number 6, but I tell you what, most of the work had been done up to that point, and we join Wade at dockside. Wade.
Hey, thanks, Tony. I'm on the dock with a couple really tall Canadians. Mr. Jamie Calhoun's getting ready to go, and we got Mr. Steven Nouveau, who's second seed from yesterday, big score. So you might be in that luxurious position to get a free ski ride today.
Yeah, for sure. That's the game plan, hopefully. But at the same time, I hope everyone else has some good sets here and keep things interesting for everyone.
Yeah, so the wind's sort of up and down, which we're always worried about, but we're going to see just how well he does in this wind as we go back to you guys in the booth.
All right, back on now. We've got 10.25 meters. This is Dane Meckler into the wind. That should give him plenty of stopping power, provided he takes advantage of it. Oh, he gets 2.5.
With the rodeo. Well, that's what he needed to do. He got himself out of that log jam at 2. He got himself into a 3-way tie for what is 4th place right now. So he not only did he surpass that log jam at 2-ball, got himself a little higher up there, and that's exactly what he wanted to do going in, taking that 39 downwind and then punching his ticket in. Well,
possibly
as of right now, but
you're saying it's a 3-way tie for 5th?
It's a 3-way tie for 4th as of right now.
For 4th, okay.
As of right now, which would still force a runoff going into...
Because a 3-way tie for 4th would occupy 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Never mind.
All right, so... But there you go. But there's still a lot of skiing to come. But I'll tell you what, Dane Meckler doing exactly what he needed to do. I mean, exactly. Looking at the instant replay there and getting around the first couple of buoys and getting enough play on number 3 to affect 2.5 at 41 off or 10.25 meters. So first major movement in this slalom competition in the men's category is Dane Meckler with 668 pounds of force, 4.2 to 1 against his body weight, and his body weight is a measly 160.
Oh, man, I used to be 160.
So did I.
What's all that Louisiana food we ate, wasn't it?
Yep, indeed. All right, here comes Jamie Calhoun. Jamie Calhoun, when he is not skiing in this part of the world, actually trains over at the McClintock Water Ski School over in Cambridge, in Ontario. Works with J-Mac and doing a fine job with the opening pass of 13 meters. And using that radar slalom ski to perfection there. So, Jamie Calhoun, one of the up-and-coming rising slalom skiers, skis for Florida Southern College Moccasins, I believe.
All right, Tony, we got a Mr. Dane Meckler here with us in the announcer stand.
And we'll talk to him right after this. All right then. So, Dane Meckler, how you doing?
Pretty good, Tony. I had a pretty good round there. I knew coming off the dock I was going to have to run that 39 tailwind. I mean, if I can't run 39 tailwind, I don't deserve to be in the final, and had to go for it there.
That's an interesting perspective, isn't it?
Well, Tony and I were arguing. I was a fan of opting up. You opted to go off 35. What was your strategy there, you know?
Just trying to get in the rhythm, just going up the rope. I liked rather starting at 35. We have to do it a lot at the pro events, so I just came out at 35 and ended up working out.
It was great skiing there. Looking back at your replay here at 41, I thought you had a really nice start there at the beginning. Got yourself a little bit down course there, and then I saw you try to turn that 3-ball to make something happen out of it. Unfortunately, ski just not able to stick in the water there, but what an effort there.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I was looking for the stand and S-turn, didn't quite have the space to do it, but happy with 2.5. Thank you.
Great skiing. Your name's in the hat, bud. Let's see how it holds up.
All right, then. So a good skiing there from Dane Meckler, and we're still keeping track of Jamie Calhoun. You will not miss a single portion of our skiers' performance. Jamie Calhoun came back on 12 meters. No sign of an opt-up from him as yet. And just going with the regular schedule from 13 through to 12. 39.5 off into the wind, and then a 41 tail.
Yeah, but I think Jamie's one of those guys that we're, his confidence boost is going to be running a nice clean 39, and he's going to take that into the headwind. Potentially he's got to run this 38 first, but the idea behind that, you take a nice 39, you get through 39 with some good confidence, you run it good, you run it strong, and then as of right now, Dane kind of set the mark. You've got to get a piece of 3-ball now at 41, and Jamie feels confident enough that he can do that in that tailwind. He can ski outside the 3.
All righty, Roo. This is now Jamie Calhoun. Trains in nearby Lakeland in Central Florida when he's not over in Puss Lynch Lake, just outside Cambridge in Ontario. And looking very, very strong there with the first 3 passes, including 38 off.
Yeah, very smooth looking 38, and Jamie's a guy in the last couple of years who's really kind of turned the heat on. He was a guy that was getting through 38, kind of scratching away at 39, and then bam, out of nowhere, just started running 39 and getting to 41. And it's good to see that because I'm looking down this field of skiers. We got some young names down the list with some seasoned veterans, and Jamie's got his name in the hat every single time. He's got himself set up for a nice 39. That 38 looked beautiful.
Yes, and looking very, very strong indeed behind that MasterCraft Pro Star towboat with the 6-liter engine from Ilmore. For those of you racing fans or either NASCAR or Indy or know the name of Ilmore, they provide racing engines for many of the cars that compete in NASCAR and also in Indy cars, in particularly the Penske teams that race in both series.
Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake.
All right.
Like that, Talladega Nights?
Yeah, I love Talladega Nights.
If you ain't first or last. That's what Jamie Calhoun's thinking right now, taking this 39 upwind.
I love me some Big Red.
All righty.
All right, then. Here we go. All joking aside, this is Jamie Calhoun. This is 10.75 meters into a slight breeze. Oh, and trying to make a huge play on buoy number 2, and unfortunately didn't quite work out for him in that regard. So
I did not see that coming, Tom. I'll be completely honest with you. I saw he had a nice gate. He had a beautiful tight line out of 1. And I'm curious to see kind of what happened here on 2 ball.
He may have had too good of a number 1.
And that's unfortunately it just started to get too stretched out there at the end. I think that you're right, Tony, and it's a bummer to say it, but you can have too good of a turn, especially at these short lines, because you can only stay outside the boat for so long. And he hooked up so good out of 1 here, got over to 2, and was waiting, and then just kind of fell in on the buoy, and that ski bit on him, and he's just. All righty. Well, unfortunately there for Jamie, but let's go ahead and take it back down to the dock side. I think we got Wade.
Hey, thanks, Tony. Although he's sitting down now, another giant of the sport, Mr. Ben Stadelbauer, sort of getting his pregame on. Conditions a little bit variable right now, huh?
Yeah, we've had wind yesterday and today again, same direction. So it's tailwind off the dock. It's a mandatory start at 13, so you kind of have to factor that in. Whatever you want to do is up to you, but there's definitely different people are going to use different strategies, and it's a bit up and down. So I think that when you have a lull, it's really nice, and when you got a gust, it's definitely tricky out there. So it's definitely going to be playing a factor out there for everybody.
Well, there you heard it from Ben. He's seeing exactly what I mean, man. When it lays down, it's awesome, but when it blows up, it's a big gust. Back to you guys.
All right, there was Benjamin Stadelbauer with Wade Cox, and they're still trying to work out who actually has the better looking Tash, whether it's Zayn Nicholson or Benjamin Stadelbauer. Both of those skiers on Team Syndicate. But the skier on the water right now on a D3 slalom ski, this is Sean Hunter. Originally out of Dothan in Alabama, but now resident, albeit temporarily, in Tuscaloosa, the home of the University of Alabama. I know you have some thoughts about Alabama.
We'll just keep it to water skiing. Don't get me started on college football.
Yeah, don't get me started there either. I'm an alum of Louisiana Lafayette, who's having a pretty good season right now, but just a few miles down the road in Baton Rouge, things aren't looking too good right now.
No, the yellow and purple are struggling a bit.
All right. All righty, Roo. And as you can see with that MasterCraft flag up on the screen there, you can see how windy it's gotten. It hasn't really affected the surface of the water too much, or too much to the detriment of our slalom skiers, but it's very much there on the body as they slalom from one side to the other. Waterskibroadcasting.com. Make sure you get your vote in for Skier of the Day. Waterskibroadcasting.com here at the MasterCraft Pro at Lake Gru, the home of action water sports and ski fluid. Here is Sean Hunter coming in 12 meters.
Oh, big little three ball there for him. Making quick work of this 35. No big deal. You know, a lot of these skiers, when they're out there, they're getting a feel for this wind. And, you know, he's kind of gauging himself. He took that 35 into the wind. He's taking a look. How strong is it out there? What does it feel like? Does it look like it's gusting up? You can kind of see those ripples on the water. So let's see what he's got for us here. He's got a 38 downwind, electing to take that 39 headwind again.
It looks like it sounds like the same fan club that came in for Manon Costard is there for Sean Hunter. Horns are blaring, flags are waving. But there you go. There's a Sean Hunter. Has a rather unique slalom style. It doesn't really move too much around the turns. He does most of his work behind the boat.
Exactly, and you'll see that out of a lot of these a lot of these guys. Some of them we talked about with Manon earlier, gets a little bit lower. And then you got your people like Chris Parrish, extremely tall skier. Jamie is one of those. You don't see a lot of movement, and it's fun to watch. Just watch his head, and if you could cut out the rest of the frame of his lower body, you don't see a lot of movement out of his head, especially across the wakes. And he's able to eliminate variables and stay nice and still. And when you can do that, you can get yourself down the line really quickly. So here we go, coming back in, 38 off, downwind. Good looking start here. Nice 2-ball.
And certainly looking strong out there, and a style that's a little bit stiff and rigid for my liking, but seems to make it work for him.
Yeah, no, he does. When you start doing that, we talk about variables in water skiing, and a lot of times, the less that you move, the less variables you have to mess up. Granted, some of those movements might benefit your water skiing and benefit your slalom style. Sean's one of those guys. Is the less I move, the less things there are to mess up, and obviously it's paying off for him. A nice, clean-looking 38. He's got himself set up for a nice 39 coming back.
All right, nice looking skiing from Sean Hunter. So that was 11.25 meters, and looking in very good shape there. And next skier to take to water will be Adam Stadelbauer. Now, we're getting closer to the point where we're looking at those tied scores, and those tied scores at 2 have dropped down one place because of Dane Meckler.
Correct. So 2 was our cut going into this event, and now it's been moved up 2.5 due to Dane Meckler's, that 3-way you see there on your screen with 2.5 at 41. So if these guys that are all log jammed up at 2, they got to get a piece of 3-ball.
Yeah.
Even to try to force a runoff going into the finals.
Yes, and if there is a perfect tied situation between our skiers, then they will be part of that runoff situation if they tie for first and second round scores only. Here we go. This now is Sean Hunter. Oh, a little bit of an aerial edge changing to number 4, but I tell you what, he's able to... Oh my word! How on earth?
Wow, Tony, with a 1-ball like that, he's wiping the sweat off his brow there.
Oh my giddy aunt.
That 1-ball, we'll see here on this replay. He kissed his knees a little bit coming out of 1. Thank God for his 2 and 4 ball there, because that saved him there. You see him here just bent out of shape on the back seat, whiplash going over to 2. Gets himself back in the game here with a big 2-ball, and then kind of got chewed up again at 3 and 5. So way to fight through that, and that might be a skier of a day performance just to fight through that 39 off there, because that wasn't pretty, but it's full 6 buoys and out the gates. And he's got himself a shot at 41. So here we go.
It's a bit like buying tires, they ain't pretty, they don't smell good, but you gotta have it.
I like that. I'm gonna save that one and add that to my repertoire.
All right, so there we go. That is Sean Hunter. That is through 39.5 off. Now, he has got to get 2.5 or more. If he can get a little bit further down course, halfway through, then that will just move him up into relative safety. If he gets 3, then he's in a 3-way tie for second. So let's have a look and see. Sean Hunter, 41 off.
Oh.
Come on, there's 2. Oh, and gets to 2, and I think he knows that he won't be advancing through to the next round of competition despite how well he skied up to that point.
Yeah, I mean, really solid effort, Sean. 2 at 41 in round 1, 2 at 41 in round 2. And we kind of saw that same 1-ball that ate him up on 39 there. He was able to fight through it, but when you get that bent out of shape coming into 2, it was just a good effort to get a full 2 buoys there. And that'll be a good score. I know he wanted a little bit more, push himself into those finals, but very good effort from Sean there. And that'll be a nice little note to end on for him, rounding out the season here, and give him some good motivation coming into 2021 season.
Kind of ramped that one going into buoy number 1. Had almost had the ski jumpers position coming off the wake into number 1, and just couldn't really transition effectively out of it. So let's have a look at our positioning right now. Anyone that's got 2.5 or more is in with a shot of skiing in the slalom final. That includes Dane Meckler and the likes of McCormick and Cory Vaughn. And because Dane Meckler scored 2.5, he basically eliminated any skier that is currently lying in with 2 at 10.25 meters or lower.
Correct, Tony. So if you got a 2 at 41 from round 1, you're on the outside looking in right now. As of right now, we don't have any ties. But let's go ahead and take it down to Wade and see who's got for us.
Hey, thanks, Tony. I'm on the dock here with Jamie Calhoun. Jamie, you're a little bummed, right? But you mentioned to me, I said, hey, how were the conditions? You said not bad.
Yeah, it really wasn't bad out there. Maybe it died down a bit, the wind, or shifted a bit more crosswind, but it honestly felt really good. The boat was feeling good. The site was feeling more dialed in, and just hoping for a lot more, but sometimes you go down early.
So, season's over. Obviously, you're in school now, but who do you want to give a shout out to as we say "C'est la vie" of the year?
Definitely my parents, of course. I mean, they're always so supportive of me, my girlfriend, and then Andrew Bergman, Drew Ross, and Jason McClintock. Those are my coaches. Those are guys who I ski with, and wouldn't be here without them.
There we go. Shout out to the Bromios. Back to you guys.
All right, here comes Adam Stadelbauer. This is a 32 off start. Hailing originally out of the Czech Republic, but now resident here in Central Florida, where he spends his professional life working for a signage firm, Loretano Signage Group.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to actually install a few signs with Adam, and got a nice little business running down there in the Central Florida area, and definitely a guy that stays busy off the water with work, and then is able to find enough time to keep himself a dedicated 3-event skier on the water, and that really, attests to the dedication and the effort he puts in to be able to make this thing happen and ski at this kind of level and working full time. The kids at home, and he's got his hands full.
All right, and we'll see what he can produce with the next few passes. Adam Stadelbauer, former European water ski slalom champion and many times overall world overall champion. And let's transition over to Wade. And Adam Stadelbauer returning into the course at 35 off. That is 12 meters for those of you metrically inclined.
So we got a couple different strategies going down here. We saw the opt-up out of JT earlier in the rounds. Didn't pay off. We saw Dane's been our only competitor so far to go off at 35 off, and it paid off because he got himself at 2.5, set himself above, and gave himself a chance to make it to the finals. Now, our next two skiers, we had Jamie Calhoun, Sean Hunter, and now Stadelbauer all electing to go off at 32 and not opt up and kind of run up the line. So we'll see if he's able to get through that 39 and if he's able to make it past that 2-ball at 41 off right now.
All right, so Adam Stadelbauer looking in very, very good shape, just trying to get into a decent rhythm off the first couple of passes, and now that he has a little bit more of an inkling as to what he needs to do with the remaining runs at starting at 11.25 meters, he knows exactly where to load on the rope. The wind appears to be fairly stable right now.
And there you go, bottom of your screen, waterskibroadcasting.com. Make sure you get there, your skier of the day. Not necessarily the best score, but who was the best performance? Who'd you like to watch? Was it Dane going out there at 35 off the dock? Was it JT opting up? Was it Menon setting a new European record. There's a lot of reasons to go out there and vote. There's no criteria for it. But here we go. Stadelbauer making nice work of 38 off downwind. And I just got a little shout out from Mr. Tom Brantley for water skier
New
out
Mexico?
there. Yeah, he's wishing he was here right now, but he's tending to the cattle. So he's a little busy.
Cattle?
I don't know. Cows, cattle.
It's what's for dinner.
The oil rigs.
All right, then. We got Adam Stadelbauer. He just went through 11.25 meters. Not to gloss over too much what he has just achieved out there. 11.25 meters. That's when the rope starts getting shorter than the course width out there. So a little bit of an aerial edge change going into number 5, but he was stable enough. And as I mentioned, he's been slaloming at this level for many years. Has a number of European titles to his name, not only in overall but also in the slalom event. For those of you tuning in, this is the remaining part of our schedule. The women's slalom final and the men's slalom final taking place back to back, starting at approximately 12:45. Then we'll go into the men's jump final afterwards. And then there'll be a prize given to conclude proceedings here at Lake Grew, the home of action water sports and of ski fluid.
All right. Stadelbauer is going to be coming back in 39 off. He knows he's got to get through this. He did a good job of setting himself for a nice headwind here. Let's see if he can get his way through this pass here. 39 off. Coming through the gates.
Oh, getting in deep off buoy number 1. And I tell you what, dug himself so deep on that particular run that he just didn't have a big enough shovel to dig himself out with.
Yeah, and I think, the way this wind's blowing, down on the dock, it looks okay. But once you get to that far into the lake, that wind really starts to pick up the rollers and the chop on the water. And he attacked that a little bit more aggressive than I expected him to. Kind of a big roll in, a much bigger gate shot than I would have thought for that type of headwind. And when you release that ski out, the harder you release it out, the quicker it's going to want to come in. He released it out a little bit too hard there, and that ski came back, bit on him, and put him down there at half buoy at 39 off.
All right, then, Adam Stadelbauer recording 672 pounds of force on that tow line. 3.9 to 1 in comparison to his weight, and with a 0 offsetting of A2. That was Adam Stadelbauer. All right, next skier up is going to be Benjamin Stadelbauer.
All righty, and so just how it shakes out for you guys at home, where we're sitting at right now, if it was to end right now, your top 6 would be Nate Smith, Stephen DeVoe, Thomas Gaspery, Cory Vaughn, Cole McCormick, and then Dane Meckler. So we have these next 3 competitors all tied with 2 at 41. They're on the outside looking in, tied for 7th place. Top 6 making the final. So Adam Stadelbauer was at 2, he's eliminated. Sean Hunter was tied at 2, he's been eliminated. So now we have 3 more of these skiers at 2 at 41 that have an opportunity to put themselves through the finals, starting with Mr. Benny Stadelbauer.
All right, so here we go. Benjamin Stadelbauer. And certainly when it comes to style in slalom skiing, there is one person that many of our slalom skiers try to emulate, and that is the former late great Andy Mapple. And in my mind, Benjamin Stadelbauer is about the closest that anyone has got to replicating that kind of technique.
No, you're right, Tony. And Benny does a great job of studying the game. And this is a guy who takes a lot of notes. He asks a lot of questions. He works really close with Dane Meckler at HO and the developments of these skis, and is able to not only does he want a ski that works for him, he wants to know why it's working for him and how it's working. And this guy's he studies film, he studies skis, he studies all his competitors, and he tries to pick apart the best of all the worlds. And it pays off. And Benny's been a force to be reckoned with for the last couple years, and the guy's dynamic.
And I know that he has this YouTube channel bookmarked.
Yeah.
All right, so Benjamin Stadelbauer. There in the towboat, we got our driver, Chris Eller, who he himself is involved in research and development, but for the MasterCraft boat company. Had a a lot of input in terms of the design and final execution of the 2021 MasterCraft Pro Star. You can have it in the 6.0 liter option, or you can opt up to a 6.2 liter Ilmor engine. Here is Benjamin Stadelbauer using that power from the towboat to great effect against that 4-blade OJ prop. And let's check in with Wade.
Hey, so we just had a boat crew change, and out of the boat steps former world champ, record holder Jeff Rogers, and into the boat goes Cindy Benzel. So I listened. Jeff talked about on the other end, maybe a few little rollers. He talked about the wind direction. So it was really interesting to sort of hear his take coming out of the boat. Me standing on the dock here, you can definitely feel bigger wind gusts at times. So we're going to see what happens the rest of the event. Back to you guys.
All right then, thanks a lot, Wade. And yeah, the conditions out there a little bit up and down. We've had periods where the wind has slackened off to a point where it's made things a little bit easier for us slalom skiers, but more often than not, the wind has been up and down here at Lake Grew. It hasn't done anything too significant to the actual surface of the water, but when it comes down to providing stopping power for the skiers on the headwind, it's a little up and down.
Yeah, it's definitely coming to effect now, but nothing these guys aren't used to or are prepared for and train with. Something that a lot of times your average skier say, hey, it might be too windy or the conditions are too rough today, and these guys will go skiing it. Just because in a pro event like today, you might be faced with those conditions, and it's a good idea. Whoa,
hello.
Big 4-ball. Well, Benny was our reigning strong pull champion rope tension meter from the Swiss Pro, known for some big hits, and he just showed you one there out of 4-ball.
Whew. And the thing that I noticed with Benjamin Stadelbauer is he comes into his offside turn, which is this one, number 1. He's patient. He's really, really patient at the end. Checks himself consistently going through the turn onto his offside to see if he's in balance or whether he needs to take a split second out to reassert that ski between himself and the tow pylon.
Yeah, Benny does a great job of, you'll see here on 5-ball, waiting for that ski to get all the way underneath him before he engages it again. You'll see some of these guys, the ski will come around, they think they're in position, and then they'll go to push and engage on that ski, thus blowing the fin out on their offside turns. Benny does a great job of letting that ski come all the way underneath his hips, wait for that load to come from the line, and then engages the boat, engages the line, and gets over to the next buoy. So got himself through 38, had a big 4-ball there. No stress about it, though. Got himself a 39 headwind. Obviously, we've seen the last couple competitors get through this pass, but it's going to take a piece of 3-ball if he wants to move any further at the 41 off rope length.
All right, so here we go now. This is Benjamin Stadelbauer. This now is, 39 and a half off. Gets the start that he needs into buoy number 1. Hooks up and then goes.
Nice 2-ball there, Tony. Patient
there
on
you
3.
Go. Real patient on number 3.
Whoa,
too patient off number 4. Look at this. He's already having to. Oh, my word. And
man.
And that unfortunately eliminates him as well.
He had that big 3-ball. We talked about being patient, and just unfortunately was a little too patient and a little too lax coming on that 4-ball there. And that headwind kind of slowed him down too much. That ski wasn't able to get back under him, and the fact that he was able to get over to 5 in around 5 was kind of all she wrote at that point. Solid effort there. I know he's going to be disappointed with that score.
That was a beautiful 3-turn.
And just got checked up there at 4. Maybe a little uncharacteristic of Benny, who's known for having a big 2.46, and there he got the ski around 5. But at that point, he kind of made his bed back at 4-ball.
Wow. Didn't expect this.
Well, now we've eliminated it back to our tie breaks where we're sitting at. We've eliminated Sean Hunter. Adam Settlemyer has been eliminated. Vinny Stadelbauer is the next one to miss that cut. So now we're left with 2 skiers outside looking in with 2 at 41. And these are 2 of the best skiers in the world, Mr. Will Asher and Freddie Winter.
Yeah.
Will being out first.
Wow. All right, then. So Will Asher about to enter the slalom course, 58K, 36 miles an hour, opening pass. This should be 13 meters. And I spoke to Will a little bit earlier on and pessimistic about his chances of making any inroads in this particular competition. And actually alluded to me that because of the uncertainty given the pandemic and the season, he didn't have enough chance to really get back into the groove of skiing in competitions, because he prepares and trains months and weeks and in advance, and he just felt that he wasn't ready for a tournament season that no one knew was going to be happening or not.
Yeah, no, Will's one of those guys. I mean, he's a strong competitor and been on the water, but Will's a guy who, spends his off-season training and building and working in the direction of peaking at the right time, at the right events, when it kicks off in March down in Melbourne, Australia, and then following into the Masters up in Callaway Gardens, and then kind of so on. But this year, with being so much uncertainty and build up just to not ski. So kind of a late start to our pro season here. And, for a guy like Will, who's a technician on and off the water, I know plays a little bit of effect. But that being said, Will has been doing this a long time. The guy's got a ton of titles. He's won everything under the books. And so he knows what it takes to win. And he had strong performance this season at the tournaments he skied in. And he had 2 at 41, a guy who ran this past, ran 41 just 3 weeks ago. So we'll see what he's got for us today.
Okay, obviously not going through to the opt-up at this time, but 12 meters coming in on pass number 2. Flicks the ski out. Actually injured his hand at the Swiss Pro Slalom, got it caught in the handle a little bit, and not too sure whether he broke a finger or not, but he's still in a little bit of pain. But decent enough skiing there from Will Asher on 12 meters to keep his challenge going in the right direction.
Yeah, and speaking of Will skiing, I know a lot of these guys, they always talk about how great Will's 2.4 is, which he has the best, one of the best 2.4s in the game. But what I really love is his patientness and his offside ability, able to make up ground on an offside. And if he can keep his chest up and his hips forward, his offside is just as good, if not better, than his onside. And it makes him a very balanced skier. It makes him able to compete in adverse conditions. And, we see that, and that it speaks to it, the amount of gold medals he has around his neck.
All right, nicely done. That is Will Asher, and let's check in with Wade. All right, looks like... All right, then, and a member of Team Syndicate, this is Will Asher. 11.25 meters, many-time European slalom champion, twice winner of the World Championship in slalom, and many times a medalist as well in the World Championships. When he hasn't won, he's normally been among the top 5, 4, or 3 skiers. Here's Wade.
Hey guys, thanks. Wade Cox again here with Cory Vaughn. So Cory, we're really right in the middle of this. We've got Will up now, Fred, Cole will be next. Sort of determines your short-term fate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're watching the webcast right now, this is for the preliminary round qualifying, this is as exciting as it gets. The next few skiers are going to determine the cut line. I feel like I'm in a fortunate scenario to know what it's going to be when I go out there. I'm tied with Cole. I'll get to see what he does. And, of course, we got Will Asher on the water, Freddie Winter about to take to the water. Those guys obviously can go put up a 3. So I'm going to watch closely and make a strategy based on what we see.
You're hearing it right here from the man that's involved in this stuff. Back to you guys.
Right, so, back here on the announcing spot, my name is Tony Lightfoot, alongside Zach Warden.
It's weird talking about slalom all day. Kind of like it. Makes me want to dust that thing off.
You heard it here first, guys. All right, then. So, right now we've got Will Asher, who's going through the traditional pass schedule. 13, 12, and 11.25 meters in quick succession. Here comes 10.75 meters. He's got to get this.
Nice one there for Will. Big 2-ball, pacing out of 3. He is.
A little bit of a slide there on number 3 and also on number 4. Now he's settled down. Now he can relax a little bit and get through that run.
There we go. Got off to a good start there, and then kind of we saw the same thing that happened to Vinny. He kind of checked up a little bit at 4, and then all of a sudden was forced to try to make a big 5. Was able to get the ski enough in the water and get enough angle coming out of 5 to get the ski around 6. Good looking start here, and then kind of, I don't want to say he slacked off a little bit at 4-ball, but kind of started to hesitate a little bit and was lucky enough to kind of get through that. But through 39, now he's got himself a chance here at 41. So we talked about it time and time again. He's got to get a piece of 3-ball. If piece of 3-ball would force a runoff for that 6, for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place, shaking out there. But we got to get him over to 3-ball.
All right, so Will Asher, 6 on 10.75 meters into the wind. Now he's going to have to attempt 10.25 meters with a pretty aggressive looking tailwind. We'll see what he can achieve here with this attempt at 10.25 meters. Now it's a case for Will Asher is how much does he want this?
Yeah.
Whether he's willing enough to fight through the pain, fight through the absence of form coming into this event to come up with something that will see him advance through to the next round. Here he comes, Will Asher.
Oh.
Round 1, round 2. Oh, and does he make a play? Ooh. Not quite. I don't know. It's going to come down to our officials whether that ski actually made it outside buoy number 3.
That's going to be very close there for Will. This 1-ball here, we saw him 2 weeks ago kind of get a little bent over on 1. Today, was able to kind of keep his chest up, but then that ski never quite finished the angle he needed. Granted, he has the ability to turn his 2-ball the way he does, but I'm not quite sure.
The wind didn't help him there. Oh, he gets around number 3, and he still had the handle up to that point.
So it's going to be a call down to the judges whether they rule that a 2.5 and 2.25. I'm leaning towards 2.5 because it looked like that ski made its way back inside the buoy line while maintaining skiing position and line control. So let's see here from the boat. Big 2-ball.
And the judges are looking at this. Handle, 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 handle. Yes!
Oh. So I think that...
Yes, just about.
But I
fingertips, fingernails.
That's going to be a close call on whether it's a 2.5 or 2.25. We're going to have to wait and see, and that's why we're that's why we're the announcers and not the officials. So...
Okay.
Wow.
So it's 2.5 and in, right? Yeah.
B2, 35. Nice match. Very pretty. 35, 12?
Yeah.
Looks like our officials have taken another look at this. Our a video assistant official will look at this once again to determine whether it's a quarter or a half. This is going to determine whether Will Asher is still in the running to make it through to the next round or whether he has been eliminated.
And Tony, for the viewers at home, all right, it's been decided, it's official. It's a 2.25 for Will Asher at 41 off. And for you guys at home, what that means is he was able to get the ski around number 3-ball, but that ski never made it back inside the buoy line while he maintained line control and skiing position. So thus awarding him a quarter buoy and not the half. So in order to get that full half, that ski has to come back inside the buoy line and with the rope in hand to be able to be awarded a half buoy. The judges looked at it. They awarded him a quarter. So unfortunately for Will, he's also going to be on the outside looking in as of now.
Now, Will could actually protest that, of course, but he needs to stump up some cash in order to do it and make that file that protest within about the next 15 minutes. Here comes Frederick Winter, opening pass, 30 meters. So riding that D3 NRG slalom ski, which those of you that entered our viewer, our audience prize competition are still in the chance of winning a D3 ski of your choice, whether it's the NRG, whether it's the Ion, or whether it's any of the other skiers in the D3 range. Those of you that have entered in with a chance of winning that, if you accurately predict the men's podium along with the top score, that ski could be winging your way.
All right, we're down to our final competitor of seeing who's going to make it through to the finals. Freddie Winter is the only one who's able to shake this thing up. We don't have a tie into the finals right now. Everyone's log jammed at 2.5 with Dane Meckler squeaking that in from the earlier in this round. Freddie's the only one that could shake things up still, but it's going to take that piece of 3 ball and a full 2.5 at 41 to be able to force a runoff.
All right then, so 12 meters. For Freddie Winter, he is on the outside looking in as well and needs more than needs 2.5 or more to advance, possibly through to the next round. And let's check in with Wade on dockside.
Hey guys, for those of you at home, this is the best part of slalom. We're trying to make the qualifying round in the finals. Cole McCormick's been over discussing with Jeff Rogers, so the wind conditions, the exact buoy count. We just saw Manon and Freddie going the same exactly. What did Will score? Because now we're dealing with the absolutes. And the mark now is Cole, 2.5? 2.5. So Cole's score from yesterday, is that in yet?
I think it's tied with 200 people.
So we are waiting confirmation on exactly. We got a couple more skiers that are right here. This is the best part of slalom. Back to you guys.
All right then, folks, and we got Will Asher here on the announcer's point, and obviously you've had a look at the instant replay yourself with the performance. It's probably a little bit redundant to say if you're satisfied with the actual performance, but what do you feel that there is worthy protest in that score of 2.25?
No, the judges 100% made the correct call on that. I mean, I barely had a hold of the handle going around 3, so we got Freddie coming in.
All right, let's take a quick look at Freddie Winter going through this particular run because.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That's what I needed it.
You just need that number. Yeah, it's easy to giggle and to laugh a little bit, but we'll take a look at the instant replay for Freddie. But while we watch this, Will, I mean, it's been of an up and down season a little bit. I mean, you didn't prepare. You weren't really prepared for the season that transpired because not many people knew that there was going to be a season to ski for. Was there?
Yeah, I mean, Freddie upped up to 10.7, so he actually ran 10.7 there. So we got Freddie coming back at 41 into the headwind, which is probably the right call. It's definitely what I should have done.
Yeah, we saw Dane earlier, pull that and run that 39 downwind. Will, you elected to take it, take 39 head and then try to chase that 3 ball downwind, and unfortunately just a little bit shy there.
I mean, coming into the course, I was just thinking get three, and it's just hard to do that at 41. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to overcommit to one, then you don't want to undercommit, and then end up undercommitting to two, and then just not able to get out to three. So it's kind of just one of those things. It's all good.
All right, then
we
thank you very much, Will. We certainly applaud you for at least making yourself available to have a little bit of a chat afterwards, and best of luck in 2021.
All right, score to beat. Here we go. 1 ball, Freddie. Hooks over 2. Can he get the ski around number 3?
Oi, hello! Whoa! It was either making it through to the next round or taking a big old crash.
Yeah, so I'm going to see if here, it looked like he got back through the gates. He's celebrating like he did. Electing to take that 39 downwind, which was huge, and it paid off here because he got to take that 41 back in wind. Not the best of starts here, but he does his best to get it ski around 2. Squeaks around 3, and now does he get back through the gates?
I love that S-turn.
Oh,
just
squeaking
inches.
through there.
Inches.
So what this does for us, Tony, is now we have a guarantee Freddie's punched his way into the ticket in the finals. Now, as it stands, in which it will stand, we will have a runoff for place 5 and place 6 out of, well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily,
we still
because
have Cory and Cole.
we've got 2 remaining skiers with 2.5, and if they score 3,
if they score 3, yeah, that's right. They're automatically in, and then would push out Dane Meckler to 2.5 earlier in the round. But Freddie doing what he need to do to punch his ticket in. Now the 2 remainder skiers, as of right now, if they do not better their score, would go into a runoff for the last 2 positions. But we still got 2 skiers to go.
All right, then we'll see if we can have a word with Freddie Winter as he gets himself back into some semblance of normality on the shoreline. But here is Cole McCormick now. 30-meter start.
Cole, a guy who has been throwing down some big scores all season. We saw him at the Swiss Pro last week, kind of squeak his way in there. Kind of fighting for that 3rd position here right now on the Water Ski Pro Tour. But nice little replay, but we are joined here at the announcers with Mr. Frederico Winter.
Hello, Zach and Tony.
All right, so all right then, as we take a look at Cole McCormick go through on his opening pass, we got Freddie Winter here, and Freddie, what up?
What up? Well, pretty happy to make it through. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not easy out there. It's a pretty horrible wind, honestly. So I kind of gambled, took the 39 tailwind, 10.75 tailwind, and set myself up. And I'm watching it, and I was out on the gate. I'm like, I'm a little narrow. 1 was not good. 2 was even worse. Kind of the same as yesterday, where I got over to 2. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm pulling into slack somehow. I don't know quite what I'm doing on 2 here, so that's awful. And over to 3, and I'm going to give myself a B+ for the S turn. That's a solid S turn. I mean,
you were either going to get number 3 or get the crash of the tournament.
Yeah, well, I think I did my crash of the tournament yesterday. I'm hoping, like I said at Swiss last week, the aim was not to crash from near on out. So now I'm in the final. We'll see where I'm going to be sitting. It's a 6-person final, so it's going to be interesting. And actually, going off the dock at 35 or 12 meters, as Dane and I did, it sets us up for the final. Gives us a bit of a dry run, under pressure, of course, which is good. But pretty happy to be in.
Well, good effort there, Freddie. You're all the way through to the finals. We'll see where you land there. It could be either first off a dock or upwards of maybe 4th or 3rd off a dock. So definitely
I could still be 2nd. I mean, I could be even.
Help if I looked at my
dock.
running order a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
But no, still a great effort there. You got a 3. You knew what it took to get in. You did it. Not the prettiest, but you did it.
Thanks, Zach.
All right then. So Certainly that performance there from Freddie just reminds me of a song by Billy Joel, Pressure. All right, so under similar pressure is Colin Mccormick. He's on the water right now, and having cleared the opening 2 passes of 13 and 12, not playing with the notion of going opting up at this point, but I think he has a pretty darn good idea of what it's going to take to make his way through to the next round of the competition. Not too sure what his PB is. I think it is around about halfway down 41.
Yeah,
it is 4.
I think he's been a piece of 4 for sure. As we walk Cole through this 38 off, we'll touch base on a quick. So Cole's kind of in that 3-way tie at 2.5 at 41, and so this is when we get a chance to, let's say he does not better the score of 2.5. He's got to beat Dane Meckler's score, which was a 1 buoy at 41 from the previous round, would essentially be the tie break. So
in essence, he's got to get to 41 off.
He's got to get to 41. Anything beyond 1 ball, a piece of 2, would then differentiate himself from Dane, setting him 1 spot ahead. But he still has Cory Vaughn on the dock left to go as well. So he's going to want to push it, but regardless of what he does, he's going to have to get down this rope and get into 41 off.
All right, so it's gone through 13, 12, and 11.25 meters. I think he's basically, at this point, exhausted any notion or any opportunity that he may have taken to opt up at this point. It would opting up at this stage would be extremely foolhardy because you'd go straight to 10.25 meters and needing the full 6 count to make that buoy count apply to that entire pass.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to pull that one on us today. And like you said, if you're going to opt up, you're either going to do it on pass 1 or pass 2. You don't really see it much later than that.
All right, so Cole McCormick. His personal best is 4 at 10.25 meters, but he's got to get there first.
Here we go, 39 off.
Let's see what he's got. Little open into buoy number 1. This is
Nice
10.75 meters. He's round buoy number 2.
Ooh, a little bit out too.
Loose with the line.
He's got the
back
3.
in it. He's a left foot forward skier, which means that he can execute 5. And there we go. It's a 6 buoy count at 10.75 for Cole McCormick.
Ooh.
There you go. Woo!
All right, well, he's got himself into 41 where he wants to be. And Tony, looking at this pass, man, he got off to a good start, and then that 2 ball kind of got a little shaky on us, and then there's just 1 ball here, and he fought through that one, and it paid off for him.
All right, and now he's in the water, thinking hard about his setup for buoy number 1 on 10.25 meters, and just the pull out for the gates at 10.25 meters is critical. I mean, Marcus Brown told me like ages ago, like in 2009, that the tolerance of getting it right is within the width of a garden hose.
All right, so we'll take a look at the scores real quick. So as we sit right now, we got that log jam down there at 2.5. And so right now, Cole his eye is on Dane Meckler's backup score, which is a 1 at 41. So anything over that 1 at 41 will break the tie break and put him ahead of Dane Meckler. Now he's also got to remember that he's got Cory Vaughn going off the dock right behind him. So that being said, he wants to make sure he gets a piece of 2, but he wants to set it a little bit further down the course. So let's see what he's got here for us. Cole McCormick, 41 off. Nice one.
There's the 1.
He's going to get that ski around 2. So
all right,
there we go.
That's a 2 buoy count there, and that's exactly what he was searching for.
So that's going to punch.
Possibly right now.
That should put Cole McCormick in, and now we're down to whether Cory Vaughn and Dane Meckler are going to take that 6th position. We're going to look back to the backup scores. Cole McCormick did a great job of knowing what he needed to do, get a piece to 2 ball, went out there and did it. So we're going to see Cole McCormick in the 6-man finals later this afternoon.
Ooh, this is getting tense.
It's making me do my math. I don't like it.
You don't like doing math?
Well, I do, but I don't.
I think seldom few people actually do, as a matter of fact.
I do it when I'm counting money. That's when I'm good at math.
That's the kind, isn't it?
Good thing I don't have to count that high, though. All righty, well, Cole went out there, did what he do. Cory looking down the lake. I'm sure he's running through strategy in his head right now. Does he take that 39 headwind like we saw Cole do? He was able to get the 2 and able to get himself in. Or does he elect to go the Freddie Winter style and what Dane Meckler did and take that 39 downwind and take that 41 head? So we're going to see some options here for Cory, but he's going to be our last guy on this bubble.
So Cole McCormick, 787 pounds of force against that towboat, weighing in at 195, so 787. That would be called the Dreamliner.
Yeah, I don't fly that one.
You don't fly the Dreamliner?
No, I'm in the back.
It's beautiful.
I'm in the back set.
Bravo 2. Bravo 2.
Alrighty, Roo. We're having too much fun here, aren't we?
Fly that Thomas Airline style. Alrighty.
We're on the propeller plane, that Douglas DC-3 Dakota.
Yes, please. We got our boat crew down there. Got Cindy Denzel on the boat. Mr. Chris Eller behind the wheel. Mr. Steve Garcia throwing ropes like no other. Official head dock starter of the tournament. So big shout out to Steve Garcia on throwing ropes. No knots so far. Good job.
Alrighty, Roo. Okay, next competitor to go riding the Radar slalom ski and hailing out of Bumpus in Virginia. This is going to be Cory Vaughn.
Cory, fun skier to watch. A little bit more unique style, known for kind of scrapping his way through some passes, but a very clean and balanced skier when he's on point. If he gets off or gets a little shaken up, he knows how to make up for it. Cory coming in. He took home the strong pool competition back at the Travers Grand Prix about a month ago. So this guy can get some angle, get some big pulls, and we'll see that a little bit later down the line when it comes down to 39 and hopefully 41 off.
So had a quick word with Cory Vaughn yesterday, and let's go to Wade.
Hey guys, at the dock here with Mr. Fred Winter, Mr. MasterCraft. But sort of a little bit stressful though, left it to the second round, and so walk us through that.
Well, I definitely wanted to get it done yesterday. I mean, I'm not making excuses here. I've had a few things on my plate this week. We've been working really hard to get this event on, so really wanted to make the final and not kind of be sitting on the sidelines. But yeah, I mean, that was tricky. The wind's up and down. I'm going to say, I think honestly that the wind was pretty bad for me. So I had to take the 39 downwind. I was nervous for it, but came back in at 41 and got an okay 1 to get to 3, messed up 2 and had to do a really good S-turn. I'm happy. The final's going to be different. I mean, especially if this wind keeps coming up, but we're going to see. It's interesting. It's not easy out there, but we're seeing some good scores despite that.
Well, that's it. We're going to get to see him again soon in the final, so back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Wade. Thanks a lot there, Freddie. And, wow, some great action there on the water. There's our top 7 right now.
So the reason we're showing you the top 7 and not the top 6 is because we have that little spot down there between Dane Meckler and potentially Cory Vaughn. As of right now, they're still tied, but now we're looking at backups. Ooh. Big one there. Settle back
huge
down
one
there. But so the mark to beat for Cory in order to make it through to the finals is going to be a piece of 2-ball, the same we saw for Cole McCormick earlier. A 1 1/4 at 41 off will get Cory into the finals. But obviously we got to get through 39 first. And electing to take that 32, he's going to take that 39 headwind and try to get that ski around 2 at 41 when the time comes.
And actually, as I was alluding to a few moments ago, I actually spoke with Cory Vaughn after his performance yesterday, and he basically said, in a nutshell, he's been skiing too much. He's had the opportunity to ski way too much compared to what he does up in Virginia. He's been here in Florida camping for about the best part of a month. Has had plenty of opportunity to get all the sets that he wanted or needed to, but I mean, it's just one of those things, you get into a kind of rhythm of what you're used to skiing that far north on a regular basis, and just going down south where it's incredibly warm, and conditions and the sites that are available are plentiful. So he just just took too much of that opportunity and feels himself out of condition here. All right, here we go. I've got one. All right, so we've got Cory Vaughn. Now, today, he looks in better shape. That's not to say he's 100%, even taking this pass into account, but 6 buoys, 11.25 meters will serve his cause quite well. But Cory Vaughn, out of Virginia, just trying to get back into some kind of skiing rhythm, and I mean that's something that's often overlooked in slalom skiing. I mean, when you're pulling that kind of weight across from one side to the next, getting into a kind of rhythm that you're comfortable with, that you can be relied upon to actually produce out there is something that is worthy of mention out there on the slalom course.
You touched on. I mean, you can overski yourself because maybe physically you can handle the ability and the abuse takes to your body, but mentally, when you start skiing that much, mentally you tend to start thinking a lot about your skiing and maybe overthinking it and not just relaying back to your to your talents and your what you're used to, and you start to overthink it and almost stress yourself out in a mental aspect when you start skiing that much. But Cory, we're wrapping up the season here. He knows this is the last chance here. He's got 39. He needs to settle down that 135. A little bit of slack line. The headwind's going to help him here. He needs to get a good start.
It's the difference of skiing by force or skiing by intuition.
And here we go. Right now, he's going to need some force on 4-ball. Does he get it? Can he get the ski around? Oh, man.
And I think he got a piece of number 6, but unfortunately that eliminates him and puts Dane Meckler through to the next round.
So what an effort there, and just got a little bit behind on 3-ball and not able to make up the ground. But we do have our final set for later this afternoon with Dane Meckler squeaking in there in the 6th position. And then we still got a little bit of a toss-up between, and then Cole McCormick will be there in the 5th. And then there's Fred Winter, Thomas Gaspari, and Stephen DeVue that could all actually kind of change their seedings depending on how Stephen and Thomas go on these next 2 rides.
Only got inside a buoy number 6, so it's going to be a 5 buoy count. But lamenting the mistake that he made on buoy number 4, which set that whole tragic chain of events into action. And unfortunately, 5 buoys at 10.75 is going to be it.
Yeah, see in replay, he got a okay start, not a ton of angle out of 1 that he wanted, and you can see he's already kind of turning a bit down course on 2 there. And when you're doing that at 39 off, it's really tough to make up ground. He tried to have a big 3, ended up having a hiccup there. Over to 4, and then just backseated it, lost all his angle to 5, and the fact that he was even get that close to 6 was pretty impressive. But, good effort for Cory out there. Put a big score up in round number 1, just unfortunately not able to bring that backup score through in round number 2. But on the water, here we go. Thomas Gaspari electing to take 35 off the dock. He's already into the finals, but now it's the name of the game of where can his seating sit. Based on backup scores. He's in a 3-way tie in that middle of the pack with 3 at 41.
All right, so skiing comforted by the knowledge. I hate to say that, but I mean, but it is what it is. He's comforted by the knowledge that he's through to the next round of the competition. Now, I mean, do you ski to get a higher spot, or do you just test out the conditions, test out the wind, and see what's possible with maybe a later start or maybe an opt-up?
Well, what we already saw was him go off at 35 off, and Freddie Winter, when he came out and stopped, he alluded to it. They're going to have a 35 off minimum starting line length for the final. So what T-Gas is going out there and doing is starting at 35. This is a precursor to his final run. He's going to treat it the same way he's going to treat the finals here. in the next hour or so to come. So he's going to go off at 35. He's going to take a shot at 39 downwind. But, if he gets through that, he gets a chance to really throw a good crack at it, that 41 headwind.
And that does kind of limit the options a little bit further so far as the starting line length and the possibility of opting up through a particular pass, because starting on 12 meters, that's a 12 into the wind, 11 with 12 meters with the wind, 11 into the wind, 39 tail, 41 head.
All right, T-Gas coming back in, 38 off, back down the lake. Shouldn't be a big deal for him. T-Gas, a fun skier to watch. This guy, I don't care where you're at or what the conditions are, or how rolly it is or how glassy it is. This guy is consistently throwing down 39 and getting in the 41, and he has been for the past 10 years. Whether it be at a World Championships in Dubna, Russia, or you fast forward a couple years down the road to a nice site like we had down in Mexico. He always performs regardless of conditions, and it's a test of his time on tour and putting in the hard work.
Yes, indeed. Won his first world slalom title in 2007. Replicated that feat 4 years later in 2011 in Dubna. So he's been able to perform well in the good and in the bad, and he's produced some great skiing at the European Championship level as well. And using that good wide ride slalom ski. And let's check in with Wade at the dockside.
Hey, thanks, guys. Here with Cole McCormick, finalist. Again, another big pro men's final. How was it out there?
It was good. It was a little challenging. I was really hoping I could start at 35 that round, but I knew I only needed 2 at 41, so I wanted to make sure I could get that and gave myself the easier shot at 39 there. Tailwind's pretty strong. It picked up pretty good for my 41 there.
So back to you guys, and T-Gas is 39.
All right, 39 off for T-Gas coming downwind. Big 2-ball over there. Nice tight line at 3, able to make up some ground. Gets the 4 he needs. Patient out of 5 around number 6, and that's exactly what I do. That was a nice, clean 39 off downwind in some challenging conditions, and making quick work of it. And like we said, this is going to be the setup they're going to have in the finals. The wind's still more than likely going to be coming out of that far into the lake and setting these guys up for tailwind 39s. T-Gas did a great job of handling it, and now he's going to see how far he can push it at 41. Freddie's got the 3 at 41 and then a backup score of 2 at 41. So anything more than 2 at this next pass will set him slightly ahead of Freddie in seeding-wise, but there's still opportunity, a little bit of shake-up there in the middle.
I'm sure you've had teachers back in the day like say to you, "You're testing my patience, Zach," and that's exactly what Thomas was testing for himself there on the turns.
I test too much patience.
You do?
Yeah, that's why. Well, never mind.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it comes to that point now where at 39 and a half off with the tailwind, he was just trying to work his way through that pass, just not really bringing that ski hard round at the end of the turn, just waiting for it to come round. Then once he gets hooked up, then he can go cross course, and just really testing how far he can push, without things going, getting unraveled on him within the slalom course. And this is 10.25 meters into a pretty darn good head breeze. And it's going to be half a buoy there.
Half buoy at 41 for T-Gas, thus kind of separating him and Freddie. So he's going to be, as of now, for seeding, Freddie Winter will take the tie break there, an advantage. And we still have one more skier with Steven Neville left, but just a big gate shot there. Try to take a big one. I think if that's the finals, I see him maybe backing off just a touch, making sure he keeps that ski in the water and gets himself a shot at 2. Being a right foot forward skier like that, just not able to hold on there. Maybe come in the finals, backs it off just a touch, and then comes in.
Hey, so I got Landon Gills, one of our young up-and-comers, but so I got a shout-out, but first we got a question. Why aren't you wearing your Water Ski Colorado hoodie?
I couldn't find it. It was at the hotel. I couldn't find it, but he called me out. Yesterday I wanted to give a big shout-out to Water Ski Colorado, though. They've done a lot for me this year especially, and really appreciate everything that they're doing. So, yeah, I should be wearing it, but I left it in the
And Stephen Neveu on top of the water here from Canada, opting to go in on 13 meters. Looking pretty strong out there. Certainly one of our taller skiers, and using that height and that additional leverage to great effect.
Steven's a fun guy to watch. You know, a little bit different style. Tends to kind of drop his shoulders and drop his head a little bit, but what that allows him to do is allows that ski to cast all the way out, and he's really good about letting that ski come all the way back under him, and then gaining that lean, that line tension out of the finish of the buoy. A lot of times when you see people drop their shoulders out of the turn, the ski whips around, they push on it too soon, and they either break at the waist or they kind of fall out the back of the ski. Steven does a great job letting that ski come all the way under him before engaging it again. And you'll see that, you know, through a nice 32 off, but you'll see that really kind of pay off once he gets down to 39.
All right, and on dockside, our very last skier to go out in the elimination round in round 2, that is Nate Smith. Just trying to stay calm and relaxed, and he's ready and eager to take to the water, but not until we get done with Stephen Neveu.
Her last round was strong. Like, it was strong, confident skiing in that
who skis when he's north of the border over at the lakes of Castonstone, the home of Predator Bay Water Ski Club, just outside Calgary. A beautiful site that's just carved in rock, and
she was still happy
great
to run
venue for the
35 when I left here in May.
No, we had a great time up there for the Worlds, and one of the prettiest sites we've had the opportunity to ski at. And so Steven made good work of that cold water training up north and applying it down here to, Florida, where we don't have winter.
Going with the traditional pass schedule, not opting up at this point. So 13 and 12 under his belt and getting ready for 11.25 meters with the tailwind.
Yeah, so we'll see Steven here just run up the line. This is a confidence set. We saw T-Gas and Freddie go out there at 35. Steven's looking more for confidence there. So,
All right, we've just got breaking news coming in that for Thomas de Gasperi on his attempt at 10.25 meters, no gate has been recorded, so his best score is going to be 6 at 10.75 meters, but that doesn't affect his advancement through to the next round of the competition.
Yeah. So, and as for tie break for Steven setting himself up ahead, he's just got to make his gates at 41, if he makes it there. And then you have Freddie Winter with the 2 backup at 41. And obviously all these guys are going to be through to the finals, just no matter how it's going to shake down in the ranks. All right.
So as it stands right now, the skiers that we figure going through to the next round are Dane Meckler, Freddie Winter, Colin Mccormick, Thomas de Gasperi, Stephen Neveu, and Nate Smith. In no particular order. 10 points. It's 10.75 meters on this particular run. So it is 11.25 meters. I beg your pardon. So it is a 6 buoy count, 11.25 meters. Sorry to scare you there, folks.
All good. But nice looking 38 downwind, and not really much to critique here. You rode a nice tight line through that whole pass. Did a good job of keeping that ski on angle, keeping the tip down around the finish of the buoy, which is really crucial in a tailwind pass like that. Good looking shot there from that 2-ball cam. Over to 3. Not much to see. And a good looking lineup there from Stephen Neveu.
All right, and looking at Stephen Neveu, and we've seen the other slalom skiers ski, but how about you guys that are watching on the webcast right now? Here's Wade.
Hey guys, on the dock with Zayn Nicholson, one of our young pros, college grad, working man. Tell us about it now.
Yeah, Wade, I just took a new job down at Eden Ski Lake. So I'll be coaching Fort Myers, Florida. Looking forward to getting down there. We got a new MasterCraft. I'm super fired up to have it there, train behind it. Great boat. But I, just kind of wanted to shout out the new lake. I'm super fired up to get in the boat, get to do some coaching. That's kind of where my heart's at right now. So just kind of spreading the love for the sport to everybody else. So
sweet boat, sweet lake, sweet coach. Back to you guys.
All right, and we certainly agree with that sentiment. The new MasterCraft for 2021 is certainly the best boat that they've produced.
Oh!
And they're trying to ski to great effect there. How on earth did he run that pass?
Well, being 6'6" helps because that
kind of
that 4-ball was not the pretty. Got off to a good start. I thought that pass was looking pretty good. Not much to commentate on her, and then all of a sudden that 4-ball snuck up and. Maybe got a little too relaxed, a little too confident going into that pass. Luckily for Steven, able to get the ski around 5 and out the gates at 6. So, and now we look at the tie-break situation between
Dane Meckler.
Well, between all the 3 at 41s, between Steven, Freddie Winter, and Thomas Gasperry. T-Gas had the 6 at 39. So it's going to be a little shakedown here. We'll cut a quick commercial break.
All right, we'll shake that down right after this. All right then, so here we go. We've figured out provisionally that provided that Steven Neveu makes his gate and gets a piece of number 1, then he moves up into 3rd place provisionally going into the next round. He gets number 2 to the wake, and that's a 2-buoy count there for Steven Neveu.
All right, and so looking back on it, both Steven Neveu and Freddie Winter both had a 3 at 41 with a backup score of both having 2 at 41. With the judges, they're going to go back to the seating going in, which I'm willing to bet is going to put Freddie seated a little bit higher than Steven Neveu. So as it looks right now, in your 6th spot, it's going to be Dane Meckler. In your 5th spot, it's going to be Cole McCormick. In the 4th spot, it's going to be Thomas Gasperry. In the 3rd spot, Steven Neveu. In your 2nd spot, Freddie Winter. And then skiing for fun, Nate Smith with a score at 1 at 43 in the first round.
So basically, Nate doesn't even need to ski, and it'd still be top seed right now.
You're correct, but it's Nate. He's probably going to ski.
All right. Okay. All right, so with Nate Smith having the quote-unquote knowledge, so to speak, that he will ski last out through in the next round of the competition. I mean, what does he do in this situation? I mean, does he go full gusto? Does he go all out? Does he test some opt-up options?
Yep. So I mean, looking at it right now with the conditions that we have today,
all the Jim Beam that he had in pregame show help.
Going off at 35 off. This is a round that he does not need to ski. He's already going to be top seed going into the finals. He's already into the finals.
Alpha 2.
There's really not
Alpha
much he
2.
can change by skiing right now, but what he can change
12
is
meters, please.
big scores. And being your current world record holder and getting through 41 off yesterday, I could see him maybe trying to see how far he can push that down.
Right, let's have a look at that. See what's going on. Hard to tell from this point, but I think that's probably 35 off.
I would imagine so. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, for a guy of Nate's caliber, you're starting off at 32 off and you're running all the way into 43. That's 6 passes, Tony, and that could take a lot of effort on your body. And he's trying to save himself for the finals and doesn't want to burn up too much effort. But Nate's one of these Midwest skiers. These guys love skiing and are on the water. Nate's a guy who skis several times a day and doesn't think twice about it. So.
I think he's too close to the rooster tail for it to be anything other than 35 off for starters.
Yeah, I see purple coming out the back there. So, we're
seeing a graphic on 13 meters. I may be wrong, but there we go. Look at this. We'll try and get confirmation on the line leg shortening, but there, Nate Smith, opening pass, smoother than a well-buttered banister.
Hey, you got Steven Nouveau, who was already a finalist before you left the dock. So we talked about a little bit different scenario, right?
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, though, there's still pressure. I still want to be able to perform and still try to get a good score there for the fans and just for myself. So it was still good, though.
Yeah, we talked about that with one of the ladies at one of the earlier events, and we sort of said that how many times would you get to go out and do a practice run with all these people here in camera? So yeah, there is that pressure to perform nonetheless.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was. I was still feeling just as nervous and amped up as I usually am. It was good.
And we're going to see him really soon in the men's slalom finale. Back to you guys.
All right, then. Back there, we can confirm that opening pass for Nate Smith was
35 off. So I mean,
12 meters.
That's what he expected. I would be surprised to see him go off at 32 and burn a lot of energy. So we're going to get 35. If Nate gets himself in a little bit of a hairy situation out there, gets a little behind in the pass, I don't see him laying it all on the line right now. There's no need to. But he wants to go out there and, check the wind out. It's actually laid down quite a bit than we saw earlier in the division midway through. So maybe trying to get a feel, see what the difference is from yesterday to today, because the finals will be coming up here in about an hour. So here we go. Nate Smith coming back in, 38 off.
Nicely done with the opening couple of buoys. Just has an ease on that slalom ski. Getting around the turns through the wakes, and nice looking 11.25 meter run.
It's pretty textbook.
Oh, wow, yes, indeed. And he's been doing this for quite a while. He is a two-time world slalom champion. The only back-to-back world slalom champion in recent times. 2013, 2015. Looking in great shape out here, and superb skiing there from Nate Smith. Can't fault his effort on that particular run, and basically since 2005, only 5 people have actually won the world slalom title. Can you reel them off?
You got Thomas Gaspery, Will Asher.
Yeah.
Nate Smith.
Freddie Winter.
Oh yeah, I forgot Freddie had that one.
And Joel Howley.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Wow.
So basically in the last 15 years, only 5 skiers have actually ascended to the top of the rung so far as the world slalom title is concerned. And one of those skiers is right on top of the water, 10.75 meters. Nicely done. A little bit more force off number 2 into 3, but managing to still stay in rhythm and just flip that ski round buoy number 6 for our D3 team skier. That is Nate Smith.
Nate's a fun guy to can ski with, and getting to ski with him a little bit kind of through the years and drive the boat for him. You'd be surprised, we talk about how effortless Nate skis and how easy he looks on top of the water, but you actually get behind the wheel, and Nate actually pulls pretty dang hard compared to weight ratio, and you feel him behind the boat, and it speaks to his efficiency out of the finish of the turn right there. You'll watch that ski hook up, and then he impacts that boat and pulls across, and he gets that ski going so quick from side to side, and that's why you see Nate necessarily not have the best turn sometimes, but all of a sudden he looks early to the next buoy, and that's a test to how strong he is behind the boat and how quickly he can get that ski moving from buoy to buoy. So there you go. There's our rope tension leaderboard. Right now, still in first place is John Travers with 1,008 pounds. He's about 106 pounds ahead of the next closest competitor, being Freddie Winter.
Yep. So Jonathan Travers will leave here with some money and a radar rope.
And unless Nate Smith pulls about 300 more pounds out of his pocket, but JT at least went big.
All right, here we go. 10.25 meters. We've only seen this pass run once in this competition. And the person that ran it, you're looking at him.
Nice
10.25.
two-ball.
Look at this. Round 3. He is on form. Ooh. He is on fire. And he has gotten another pass at 10.25.
I'm not going to lie, Tony. That's probably one of the cleanest looking 41s.
I'm not even too sure they shortened the rope.
I'm going to double check that. But no, I did definitely shorten that rope there because that was a good looking pass, man. And that 4-ball he had there was effortless. And if that's not the cleanest 41 I've ever seen run, that's up there, alongside probably some other Nate's 41s off. But I told you he was either going to ski it light and save his energy or maybe give this thing a crack at his current world record of 2.5 at this next pass at 43 off.
And he set that world record 7 years ago, and it's been has not been challenged since. So here we go, 9.75 meters. This is going to be a tough ask because the wind is going to be behind him, but if he can get on rhythm, if he can get the number 1 that he wants to, it's anyone's guess how far into that pass he'll finish.
Yeah, he's got the best boat crew right there. Chris Eller behind the wheel, Cindy Binzel, your boat official, and Nate Smith behind her. So let's see what he could do for us. I mean, you guys are getting a treat here, getting to see someone attack this 43 off. Does not happen very often. Let's see what he's got for us, ladies and gentlemen. 43 off, Nate Smith. Here he goes.
Just gets the 1, and that ties his best score from the round previous to this one. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Smith.
Well, man, some consistent skiing. Not too bad back-to-back rounds, 1 at 43.
All right, let's see if we can look at this instant replay. I mean, just imagine the forces in play there. The deflection angle, a full 180 degrees from side to side to get that ski under his body and try and resist as much of that force from the boat as possible. Some great skiing here from Nate Smith and indeed from all of our slalom athletes that you've seen so far in the preliminary round.
So that'll conclude our men's slalom round 2 and headed through to the finals. We'll list them from 6th to 1st. Squeaking in there is Dane Meckler coming in your 6th seed, Cole McCormick in your 5th seed, Stephen Navu in 3rd seed, Thomas Gasper in the 4th seed, Stephen Navu in the 3rd seed, Frederico Winter in the 2nd, and then yet again, Mr. Nate Smith will be your top seed going into the finals.
So there we go, 723 pounds of force, 4.4 to 1 against his body weight of 163 pounds, and operating off a 0 offsetting of Alpha 2.
All righty, well, I think we're going to do a little swap out with our officials, get that boat gassed up. There's your results going into the finals, your top 6 right there. Some amazing skiing. You look all the way down there in 12th position. These guys are all in the 41 off. Very impressive skiing from these guys out here, and we truly have the best of the best going into the finals this afternoon.
All right, then. So our top 6 featuring skiers from countries such as Canada, the United Kingdom, Italy, and the United States. Dane Meckler in 6 with 2.5 of 41 alongside Cole McCormick. And there you'll see the results, and you can actually keep up with the live scoring by going to waterskibroadcasting.com. Waterskibroadcasting.com, you'll find a link there to live scoring, as well as this webcast and the rope tension leaderboard brought to you by Radar Skis. Shows Jonathan Travers with over 1,000 pounds of force against that tow line. He is in the lead in that regard, ahead of Freddie Winter, ahead of Will Asher, ahead of Stephen Neveu, ahead of Jamie Calhoun. All right then, folks, so we'll continue on with the action, but let's check in with Wade first.
Here in the dock with our top-seeded finalists, and Nate, you get a little prep work in. Now you've got a 41 from each direction under your belt. How was it?
It felt good. Just like you said, I got to change it up that time, start at 35 to bring 41 the other way, because that's what we're going to get in the next round. So I just want to go out and feel that out, knowing that I was in to the finals. But so it's a little more of a relaxed round. So I'm happy with how I skied. But as you well know, as soon as this next round comes, the pressure's on again. So you got to go out there and perform.
We're going to see that soon. We're liking the strategy already. See you guys.
All right then, folks. Thanks, Wade. Thanks, Nate. And that concludes the preliminary rounds of our competition. The next action you'll see out there in the water will be the women's slalom final. The top 6 women from the elimination round will feature. And all of that action coming up in the next few minutes right after this break at the 2020 MasterCraft Pro event here at Lake Gru.